fly sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the fly sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right?
Ladies, gentlemen, and everyone in that wonderful Technicolor rainbow in between, welcome to tonight's coverage of the Titan Esports Immortal League. I'm What's Pretty, and joining me today is not Ozzy, as he's off this week, wishing him all the best, but we've got Jay Beto. How are you doing today, Jay Beto?
I'm doing good. I'm a little, feeling a bit funny after our conversation. We've been having some fun discussions before we went live.
Oh, it's always fun behind the scenes.
Not for viewers to know about because, exclusive conversations. I'm Australian, Golden. I don't have the First Amendment, so I don't have any of the amendments. So we're in Australia today, but this is
taking place in Australia. Fair enough. We've got a pretty exciting matchup tonight, though.
Yeah, I haven't been here, so you're gonna have to educate me a little bit on how the season's been going, where we are. And I was talking to you before we went live that this Stasis Gaming Mirage roster I casted earlier this week in Aegis, and then some of the players of Final Boss as well, Steve Jackson and Klexo, I believe, were also against them. So this is kind of a rematch of sorts.
Yes, this is week number 7. We're starting to get really down to the wire. 2 weeks left, not including this one. We got week 8 and week 9. But playoffs are starting to get locked in. And speaking of those playoffs locks, this is why this matchup is so important for both of these teams. With a win in either this week or next week, both of these teams will lock in playoffs. So this is an important matchup. You can, if you win this week, you can just sort of take a little breather, take it easy, maybe not reveal so many draft strategies or big plans in the upcoming weeks. You can have a little bit of a nicer time, but if you don't end up taking this win, you have to kind of lock in for week number 8 and say, hey, we need a win here.
Yeah, it's a tough situation, to be a team that's, if you lose, you're not, in a great spot in the placements. But I will say that Stasis Gaming Mirage did lose that game in Aegis. If they could come back and win, it's not the full team, but that would be some very nice, pardon me, some very nice revenge, some flavor. And yeah, there is still, time. The best of 3 in front of us. I hope that both of these teams have done their prep, done their scrims. If, this is pretty high elo, I would say that these teams should be scrimming and preparing against the other teams. So if you do need to bring out some of those strategies that you're talking about, maybe you don't want to bring out, if you're in game 3, you have to bring out some of those strategies that you're prepared and ready to go.
Yeah, like you can see up there on the standings, you see Final Boss 18. They're 6-1, best team in our league right now. So again, if they win here, lock themselves into playoffs, worst record they can get is 7-3, which is still a very respectable record. So you're not feeling too stressed about it, but Stasis Gaming Mirage, they're on the outset of that. Top 4 teams will move into playoffs. So right now, sitting on that 5th seed, really want to get that win and just lock in their spot. But we're going to jump into the draft here. Zahen and Yasuo immediately taken away, Senna as well. You were mentioning, based on the Aegis series that you watched previously this week, that the Stasis top laner was a player to watch at the very least.
Yeah, so pretty much destroyed the top lane, at least in lane. Steel City Warrior did, but wasn't able to convert any of the leads. I think one of the biggest issues that I saw with this team was their lack of dragon stacking prior. So they're playing Nah in the second game, got a massive lead, and then didn't have any dragons, so they couldn't end the game. And I think they were playing double mage, and so they just couldn't do Baron either. So they were just stuck doing nothing, waiting for the other team to catch back up. That's a pretty hard top laner to answer into. Rumble is
like seeing the Rumble,
the best.
Is it flexible between top and jungle? We did talk about some picks earlier before. Or it is one of those matchups that is fairly, I would say, not great for Rumble at the very least, just because the sustain and the tank stats are there, and he builds Magic Resist pretty easily. He wants to have that AoE, Wave Clear, the Sunfire item, Hollow Radiance. I'm always forgetting that one and mixing it up with Unending Despair, but it's a decent matchup versus the Rumble at the very least. I like the pickup of the Ashe as well. It gives you flexibility in the bottom lane, the utility for engage, but it also means that you can pick up a more damage-heavy jungler, maybe a more damage-heavy mid laner as well, and try and just coordinate around one of those lanes.
Yeah, that one is a pretty standard answer into the Rumble. See if like Steel City Warrior on the weak side will be able to play that. Olaf, I mean, could be a flex between top and jungle, like if you wanted to put the Olaf into the top lane. But I think it should be Seraphine here for Stasis Gaming Mirage. You see the Varus, good. Now you don't like Final Boss 18 don't have their support, so you should ban supports here that are good into Seraphine. So like Karma, maybe a Lulu, or okay, yeah, Blitzcrank is a good idea too.
Some of the hook
Yep,
champions just allowing theirs to actually get an engage in.
yeah, I like that idea too. If you're comfortable with the push, like you think that Trade is not going to play something like a Karma, and you just want to get out those hook champions, I think that's a good idea too.
Yeah, I expect that we'll also see a Nautilus if Blitzcrank is going to be like the style of ban they're going for. No, they are going to opt for the Karma, so kind of splitting it halfway. I would love to see a Nautilus here from Final Boss 18 give themselves a really good, just pure engage option and say, hey, we can press a button, we can go forward, and we can find a pick on somebody. I like these bans from Final Boss 18. The Xin Zhao especially works so well with these Enchanter supports just being enabled to kind of run forward and do whatever he wants, and the Iron does really well at enabling Ashe as a backline sort of utility carry. It does leave up one of the more powerful junglers on the patch. Wukong still incredibly good, not too shocking to see him grabbed. So it will be versus either the Rumble or the Olaf. Most likely, unless we see one in the mid lane, but I'd be very surprised by that, especially now that we see the Sylas lock in, and I like this Sylas. There's a lot of good ultimates to take.
There is, but this comp's now really short-ranged. The Varus does have that poke advantage. It depends on what build you're going to go, but the Pike does. Yeah, that is a good answer into the Seraphine Ashe, but still, this comp is extremely low range. Against an Ashe Seraphine, that can be kind of tough.
Now, I am a support player, and I play a lot of Pike. Pike is my highest mastery champion, so I'm going to be expecting a lot of things here from Trade on Final Boss 18. I expect high proficiency out of my Pike players. I don't want to see any collectors. I don't want to see any fluff. I want to see... Yeah, I play a lot of Air and Mayhem, and anytime I see Pike on the enemy team, I just know they're going to have a collector in inventory, even though the champion has an execute built in. You don't need the crit. It's fine. I'm not going to go on a rant. It's totally fine. I think the Pike here is a great pick. The team is fairly squishy outside of the Ornn or the Wukong. There could be struggles in the mid game, as Pike does always have, but you're not really picking him for the mid game. You're picking him to say, hey, we're going to make sure that Ashe Seraphine don't come out of this lane happy.
Well, I'm an ADC player, and Varus is one of my most played. I like talking about the Varus builds. I think lethality is the option here. Otherwise, the lane is really, really hard. You're fully relying on getting it all in. And otherwise, when you get to teamfights, you can't really play into Syndra, Ashe Seraphine if you have on-hit. You do like it into Wukong and Ornn, but I think with Rumble Olaf, that should be enough damage to get through the Ornn. I would love a lethality build, but we'll have to see what the keyboarder goes this game. I think both are okay. I'm just concerned that if you go lethality, the Syndra is just going to take over the game. I think a lot of the team fighting is actually about the Syndra. Sylas dashes in, knocked away. Pike goes for a hook, knocked away. The only person you can't really do that to is Olaf. So Steve Jackson is going to have to be looking for some good angles with the ult, so the CC across the board won't affect him.
Yeah, I do worry that there might be a little bit of overload on the Syndra, though, just because there are so many things that she does want to cancel. You have to be really careful about what you do pick and choose to actually stop with that Scatter of the Week, because once it's off, you don't really have the opportunity to press it again for quite a long time. It's a pretty hefty cooldown. I do also want to point out, is that Rumble in the jungle, Steve Jackson opting for the first strike alongside that Smite, which means they are headed into the jungle, and it's going to be Striker Jones on the Olaf playing versus this Ornn.
Observer, can we please have a look at the Rumble skin? Is that possible? I need to know.
It has to be Rumble in the jungle. Surely.
I need to know if it's Rumble in the jungle.
Rumble in the jungle. It's base Rumble, not even Super
That's base Rumble.
Immediately disappointed. Immediately disappointed. Yes.
Okay. Can you tell our observer to zoom out, please?
In the meantime, we've got just fairly standard early trading. I do also want to point out Steel City Warrior opting for just the refillable potion Stardust. Klexo, already with the level 2, the Kingslayer plus those chains, getting plenty of damage in. Waffles will get a trade back, but that's a good start for the Sylas in this range versus melee matchup.
So, okay. Interesting thing here. Steel City Warrior went Spellbook on Ornn. He went refillable pot, no Doran shield, and then bought the Doran shield when he had enough money for it. Gank in mid, maybe.
Looking for it. Nice Scatter of the Week. Klexo in a little bit of trouble. Is just trying to chains back. Maybe look for a trade back. Instantly finds it. First blood to Klexo in the 1v2.
That was a really nice play from Klexo. There's so much damage and healing from Klexo on the Silas right now. Going
Again,
for
he's going for
more.
it again. The chains smacks down Optical Waffles. Now on the bottom side, Pike looking for a hook here. Blake Kisser looking to get behind the minions. Heal burned. Trade looking just for the Halo Blades proc, but can't find much else. But a good start for Final Boss 18.
Yeah, that's a great start. And it'll mean that this mid game will start to, when we get there, obviously, will start to become very Silas, pardon me, favored. It's already pretty Silas favored. Like the mid game, Silas kind of takes over. But if he can get an early first item, chain that into like an early second item, or maybe even a Dark Seal, get some more stacks. As you can see, the Dark Seal purchase has been bought now. Then the Silas around these dragon fights, around any grub fights, herald fight, is going to be really tough to take down before Ash and Syndra have any real damage. It is the poke virus, so we'll be able to get through the lane a little bit easier. But Ash is not really like any burst heavy. Sorry, is not a burst heavy ADC, right? She really wants to spend her time hitting Silas, and if Silas just one shots you, well, then you can't deal that consistent damage.
It turns out when you're dead, it's really hard to provide DPS.
That's true.
I think it's a great early start. We already see the Wukong down here on the bottom side trying to maybe apply a little pressure, as it is a very aggressive bottom lane. But if this recall goes through, this could be a very bad 2v2. Blake Kisser's going to get hooked. Trade looking for just a little bit of damage, but this is kind of the awkward thing with the Pike and the Poke Varus. You have two kind of different identities for what you want in the laning phase.
I'm still not convinced by this Olaf Rumble. Like, I'm just thinking about it, as Chains will miss there from Klexo, but still, Optic Waffles takes a decent chunk back.
So much damage.
Like, I think that Olaf does a better job ganking like Ashe Seraphine because of the ult, right? I think that Rumble ult, that's movement from Optic Waffles, doesn't really do anything. Like the equalizer doesn't really do a whole lot at a ganking stage. And I think that, yes, maybe you can find a little bit better of a lane on Olaf, maybe, but I think that if you're gonna go Rumble, like Genji Keen did this thing all the time, and I see a lot of people talking about it. I like to talk about it, where he goes first strike cashback Rumble against matchups like this and just prints gold in top, and he's genuinely up like a sizable amount off of just the runes alone. Shanes will hit this time.
Ducked. Stolen Unleashed Power, but nice scatter of the week. Keeps Waffles safe for now, but level 5, no TP. Klexo's just fully in control of his lane. Up about 15 CS, and it's going to be a little more after this wave is picked up, as well as, again, no TP for Waffles. You're just going to have to walk back the lane.
Yeah, so Silas, like in these range matchups, he does technically lose. And the way that Silas needs to play it is he fights you to the death on the wave. And you can see that's what he's doing. The problem is that Optic Waffles is not really doing a great job of playing in the wave. There's some, good movement dodging hooks, but like you're relying on sidestepping hooks chains. Eventually you're going to get hit by one, and that's going to happen to you. And the Silas matchup is not going to get much better. When we go into a side lane, yeah, the Syndra can push him away in a team fight, but if he gets on top of you, you die instantly in the side lane. It looks like we're going like Rocket Bells or something like that.
Steve Jackson should just be able to get into this lane. Nice flash infiltrate. Should be able to get the Bone Skewer. Regis in a lot of trouble. The barrier's there, but the damage comes through anyway. Key Border will take that kill. Nicely executed gank by the Pike and the Rumble.
Yeah, I guess Rumble Jungle popping off. That's what... Oh, hang on, another hook.
It's gonna duck lands. Waffles getting a decent trade back. Klexo not able to pick up the lethal just yet, but... Oof. Again, it's just the consistent pressure. Waffles is going to be forced to recall here again, because one more trade, and that's a death.
Yeah, pretty much. It's really tough right now for Optic Waffles. The CS is building up. And it's not just the CS, it's the no pressure. Like, Wukong is doing a dragon right now, which I think is extremely lucky that he's allowed to do this. I guess they have bot prior, sure, but if Silas comes down, he's level 7. He would just solo kill the Wukong on the dragon, but instead wants to go for a plate. So I think it's a little bit illegal that Wukong should be getting this dragon. Klexo is just kind of sitting there and watching Syndra farm. We get an invade in top lane, that's fine. You can help Rumble invade, get a little bit of gold and a camp lead, a small camp lead. But I think that the dragon sacking is so important. If we dive top, maybe this is worth. But I don't see that happening against an Ornn with ult.
They do know that Wukong is on the bottom side of the map now, but again, with the vision, with the wave clear that Ornn has, I just don't think Steel City Warriors feeling that much in trouble right now.
I mean, realistically, the only bad part of the map right now is the Silas. Okay, Varus got a kill on the Ashe, but it's still priority for Ashe Seraphine permanently. Like, that's just how the bot lane will work. Unless trade can all in you, you will have priority. You will be able to poke them down. And when these level 6s tick over, you're even stronger. I guess the good news for Final Boss is that Keyboard has cleanse into the Ashe Seraphine lane, and Ashe does not have cleanse. So Chains of Corruption
Yeah.
hits at the dead Ashe, and you can cleanse the CC like well.
Potential trade
That's
here in the
the
bottom lane. Encore is going to land alongside their Crystal Arrow, and trade with no flash is just going to get picked up. Keyboarder looking for the potential 1v2 here. Flashes forward, gets the piercing arrow off, but now is in quite a bit of trouble as the Wukong's in the area. Can't get the damage down to the Void Kisser, and that's just going to be a free kill given over to the jungler.
played really well by Stasis Gaming actually. The Pike obviously doesn't have cleanse, so instead they all in the Pike, give a kill to the Ashe. Yes, Varus did die, but he lost flash for that. And against the poke, right? Like now you're really immobile against the Wukong and the Ashe Seraphine, and still dies, right? Wukong comes over, nice gank, follows that up. So it is just a 1-for-1. Oh, sorry, a 2-for-1 at the end of the day. So favoring Stasis Gaming, good play there to get some gold onto the bot lane. The only problem is that they can't really stem the bleeding in the mid lane. And yeah, that was Pike finding a kill onto Seraphine, so never mind.
Without ultimate as well, that is a huge deal because that's going to keep Woodkisser out of this lane for a while. It means that Regis just needs to stay as far away from it as possible. As meanwhile, topside Striker Jones is just kind of having fun up here, free farming. But City Warrior, now with the Call of the Forge God, is just going to be forced to use that Ragnarok defensively. I think they're still City Warrior. You're kind of okay with that trade.
Yeah, I'm not like how convinced am I by this Olaf right now? The CS is big, the CS lead is massive, so that's a good news, right? That is becoming a bit of an issue. But I also don't particularly know what item we're going first here. Like there's a Hydra,
It looks like
and
Gravis
then
Hydra.
oh, that's right, yeah, that is an item. I'm thinking surely it's Stride Breaker, right? Like you're against Ashe Seraphine, you need that item, but yeah, we'll have to see. I don't want to be too critical.
A little bit risky. The stun into the stun, and this should just be one dead. A Pike, the weakness of this champion is if you flub your engaged, you are so squishy.
Can we dive mid here? Looks like Steve Jackson might be trying to. And Optic Rifles has flash and ult. This would be tough, but maybe just going for the Raptors instead.
Scout of the Week is going to be used. And again, we talked about it, that long cooldown. Potential for a gank here, but not going to opt for it. They know that Wukong's on the bottom side of the map. Potentially playing for that counter gank, so not going to work. Like, so we'll spot him out here, though, on the Scuttle Crab. They won't be able to get much else out of it.
All right, well, let's take a check-in. You know, one dragon over to Stasis Gaming. There's only been... Oh, sorry, the grubs now being started up by Final Boss 18, as Steve Jackson will do those. So it's an objective apiece. So the solar lanes are winning for Final Boss 18. I feel like the top lane is a bit more of a, like, kind of has to happen, right? It's Olaf into Ornn. Olaf will just insta-clear the wave, fight Ornn. Like, Ornn can't really do anything. Steal these Krugs on cooldown, get a CS lead. And... Oh, this is on a ward, so should be fine for Final Boss 18 unless they really make a mistake here. Okay.
Trade wants to go for this play, flashes in for the stun, finds the clone as well. Huge play in the death from below. Will trade out the gold. Beautifully played by Trade.
Yeah, well done. I didn't see Clixo on the map. I was just looking at Trade walking up like he did before, and I was expecting like a similar situation to last time. But instead, mid lane rotated this time, used that gold advantage, has the item completed. And this is like, I guess an issue when you go Darkseal and then you just sit on your lead. The lead hasn't really expanded anymore. Ashe ult was used in the bot lane. Are we diving bot?
Yeah, a bit of a scuffle. They're going for the dive, but Steve Jackson is the first one to fall there. Now Keyboarder and Trade have to find a way out. Nice hook by Trade to keep the Wukong farther away from his AD carry, trying to just play the bait, do his job as the support. He's going to land the stun here as well. Optic Waffles, if it gets the scatter, should just be able to pick up Trade here. One more orb. Just out of range, just has it in time. Optic Waffles picks up the support.
So yeah, the bot lane is not looking great. Rumble died. The dragon is up now. And maybe you could say that Final Boss 18 were looking for like a fight before the dragon, but it was really out of position. They were diving between the towers, so and they didn't have their Fed member, right? Or either of them. They didn't have Olaf, who's finished Ravenous Hydra now. They don't have the Silas, who's the only
Teleporting
real Fed
in.
member. They do now. We are going into a replay as the dragon
Yeah,
is being
what
started.
exactly happened on this bottom side? Flash in from trade?
They just dove way too hard, but back in live, Stasis Gaming is losing the game. They are all dying.
Yeah, just good navigation there from the side of Stasis Gaming, just getting their bottom lane out of that trouble. But now, deja vu, I feel like I've been in this place before. Boy Kisser stuck under turret here. Regis already dead. This should just be a dead Seraphine trade, holding up the turret for as long as possible, and they'll give it over to Steve Jackson. That was well executed.
The keyboarder nearly got one shot by that turret shot, the ramp turret shot.
The ramp hurts.
The thing is that Stasis Gaming got 2 Drakes. So it's Hex Tech Soul with this range advantage Ash Seraphine Syndra. And they already have the dragon stacking. Okay, yes, they died. The gold lead is still going in favor of Final Boss 18. He's been exhausted.
W Shield is going to block out most of that brittle proc. Flash over the wall from Steel City. He just wants the damage here. Anti-heal on, so that Ravenous Hydra is not going to be doing anything. One more auto will give it over to Optic Waffle. MVP top laner, playing the tank match of St. here mid lane on a silver platter.
Klexo.
Optic Waffles. Klexo immediately looking for the trade back with the red carpet. Gifted out for him. One top laner gives 1 kill over. The jungler gives over 2.
Yeah, okay, so it's still maintaining that this Silas is the entire game right now. Rumble has a couple of Dark Steel stacks and a couple of kills as well, but it's 5-0-2. Cleanse out from the keyboarder. Wukong's around, but can we dive? It would be tough. A flash still available for the keyboarder, but a potential option if a mistake is made here from Final Boss 18.
The ultimate being available for the Pyke does make this risky, but Trade has to immediately use that undertow to just get out of danger. Looking for dive here, flash in with the Cyclone. Trade and keyboarder taken so low, but they don't have the damage to finish off. Immediately pops the ward to make sure there's no redive happening, but nicely.
He was under 100 health. Well, at least we can get some tower pressure here, but Varus using that poke build should be able to clear out majority of the wave. Pyke goes invisible. They're still scared. Jungle, this Rumble could be around the corner. Equalizer, not back off cooldown yet, but still a potential. Now, for Final Boss 18, I'm not sure how I feel, because this Olaf is dead. He might take a good bounce death to the towers.
He's got the Ragnarok. He could definitely trade back here at the very least. I don't think
have to try.
Yeah, 4-level lead on the jungler. I think L-Blue on this Wukong has to be careful here. Striker is just holding onto that cooldown, waiting as long as possible. Finally is going to burn it. Look for the all-in onto Optic Waffles instead, but Regis walks up, says thank you very much, and we'll just fire an arrow for that easy kill.
Close. I mean, you're losing stuff in bot and mid for it, but Olaf's dead. He has this big CS lead, but I don't really feel it. It doesn't feel like he's got a CS lead. It just feels like he's, I don't know, experimenting a little bit. And the bot lane is stable. It still isn't really hard losing, despite how some of these ganks have been going. But it's up to the Silas. He has upgraded Magi, so we are committing to the no-death run and getting kills. We need to see more action.
Boy Kisser taking plenty of damage here. Steve Jackson with the burn and the equalizer, but Optic Waffles will kill Trade before the death from below can come through, so it's just a support for support, 1-for-1.
Klexo takes the Ash Arrow. We are a minute away from the dragon spawning, and it looks like Wukong might be taking this Herald, but I don't know if he's allowed to get this for free.
Yeah, it's going to take plenty of health off of him, but Klexo, now in the area. Smites a little early! Oh no! L-Blue loses the Herald to the chains and his life as well! Klexo now dominating on the Silas.
The arrow just misses there in the top lane, but yeah, maybe he thought he had fully upgraded Smite because that was way too early.
Now up here for the top lane, they're just looking for the turret instead. Chandra Crystal
the
and the Encore, all of the CC down onto Klexo, but this Silas is not taking very much damage. Striker Jones in the meantime, though, very squishy onto the Olaf, but now with Trade and with Jackson in the wings, Regis will fall. The Undertow doesn't get the reset, but it should not matter. Steve Jackson now on a rampage. Steel City Warrior forced on the run. And final boss 18, even when the plays look iffy, they still come out on top.
Yeah, Klexo is a big part of that. He's absolutely running this game. 604, 16 stacks of Magi's, 16 pages completed. He's writing their names in like Death Note. And they are dying. I'm not sure what the cause of death is or what he's writing in his Death Note. It could just be heart attacks.
Questionable choices?
Yeah, that could be it too. Dying of questionable choices.
Driver's license?
Oh,
did
speaking
not
of
pass
questionable
his test,
choices,
but
is
he
he
was
dead?
so close.
This is a 1K shutdown if he dies.
Little trouble, yeah. Voidkisser doesn't manage to find the route. Flash away from the dockup as well. Klexo navigates his way out somehow. Dashes back in with the Kingslayer. He's just feeling himself today. Now Striker Jones in the area, feeling much more confident to turn it back around. Steals the call of the Forge God, wants to turn it around, but nice knockup and CC by Steel City Warrior. But now the Olaf is the one in trouble. Turns it around onto the Seraphine instead, immediately forces the flash out of her. Striker Jones walking forward here, looking for just one shot onto Regis with the equalizer. Goodbye, Ash. Olaf is in the game.
Yeah, no anti-heal outside of this Bramble Vest, and when you're not hitting on, it doesn't work.
Oh,
Seraphine
my
just got
lord.
one shot, and Stasis Gaming Mirage are so afraid of this Silas. He ults into their, he heralds into their base and still gets out with more than half health.
Like so. Little underpowered. Trey taking plenty of damage, but El Blue just loses his life. Klexo does so much damage on this Silas. Steve Jackson, in the meantime, just finds Optic Waffles underneath his own turret. You're not safe there, buddy. That's another turret taken, and Final Boss are now cleanly in control of this game.
Striker Jones might fall down, but it's just a consolation prize. Oh, he won't even die.
Yeah, the Olaf is just gonna walk. He's held onto Ragnarok as well. He kept the ultimate.
So, Brady, kiss, kill, marry Silas with 24 stacks of Magi's.
I feel like I have to marry him because if I try to kill him, he's gonna kill me instead.
Yeah, that's not happening.
I will do whatever it takes to keep him happy.
Yeah, okay. Any producer input here?
Yeah.
Oh boy, is there. I will not be saying what
it's gonna find
said.
Voidkisser, and that's a dead Seraphine. It's about a 14,000 gold lead here. Stasis Gaming Mirage not feeling good about their spot in this game, but this is kind of what we expected the final boss composition to do. They played early game, they played for Snowball, and this is just kind of exactly what's been happening.
All right, so, we've got playoffs around the corner. We're trying to learn before playoffs. Okay, what are we learning here?
Don't let Klexo play a free Silas lane.
Don't, even beyond that, don't feed a double kill to Silas at 2.5 minutes into the game. That's probably a good start.
It's kind of like how a lot of the Immortal top laners had to learn to not fight Ornn levels like 2 and 3 because his base damage is way higher than people anticipate, and we just had so many times of solo kills happening.
It's a 5v1.
Yeah, 5v1 Klexo. I don't think you're walking out of this one. Unleash power. Optic Waffles will get the 1,000 gold shutdown and take 10 pages out of that book. Steve Jackson maybe looking for some exit frags here. See Steel City Warrior, but now you're stuck in the 1v5, buddy. Cyclone, call the Forge God. It's your arrow. Nothing lands. Jackson manages to just moonwalk his way out of that play.
I feel like if they had killed Steve Jackson there, maybe there was an opportunity for Baron. If that Ash arrow had hit, their CC chain had come through, they probably could have done Baron. No Silas for ages, no jungler. I feel like it's a very big possibility that they could have done that. But still, not enough anti-heal in my opinion. I feel like a Seraphine or a Syndra needs to go it. Maybe Ash can go more to Reminder. But we need some anti-heal into the Silas and into this Olaf, or he's just going to do this.
Yeah, he's just Ragnarocking. He's just walking through. Regis taking plenty of damage. And Striker Jones does not give a damn about your crowd control. A double kill for the Olaf. He is fully in this game. Out healing El Blue on the Wukong. Looking for just one more undertow, but he's just going to take the portal and walk out as Trade gives his life to keep his top laner alive. That's absurd.
Yeah. There is a big amount of healing on the top side. Sorry, Golden, continue. I am listening. All right, so I'm getting told that if the stream goes off, it's because Golden doesn't want to watch this game anymore because it's too brutal.
Yeah, it's because Golden specifically hates all of you. It's not because there's like a tornado in the area or anything.
Okay.
But yeah, this game feels all but wrapped up. It feels like it would take a pretty monumental throw from Final Boss 18 to actually lose this, as Klexo uses the Call to Forge God, is just going to look for the trade, tries to get fancy with the chains, can't find the angle onto Boy Kisser, but now the Equalizer, Regis is just going to lose all of his HP with the arrow to finish it off. Klexo, nice Zonya's timing, gets away from the Unleashed Power. Death from below, trade picks up the extra gold as Keyboarder finds a double kill, and yeah, I think they're just going to march it down and end this game here, Beto.
Yeah, I don't think that there's anything Stasis Gaming can do. It's just a Wukong, a Seraphine, and an Ornn, and against the 5-stronger Final Boss 18, I think it's pretty much done.
Yeah, Ragnarok inside of the base does not give a care about your base lasers. We'll die for it, and so will Steve Jackson. A shutdown goes over to the Wukong, but I think even these three members should be able to find a way to end. Regis has respawned, so the Ash available trade will fall.
Okay.
And I think losing that means they actually can't find an end here. Boy Kisser takes plenty of damage. Steel City Warrior doing a good job tanking in that front line. Unstoppable's the chains. Encore is going to go way wide.
Behind.
Back line from Optic Waffles, looking for a potential flank here as Klexo maybe in trouble, finds the two-man stun on the Scat of the Week, cleanse, double flash, Keyboarder and Klexo looking to just try and find their way out. Maybe looking for a trade back as Klexo has that hijack pretty soon, just looking for the right ultimate to take. They're kiting away so damn well. The Chains of Corruption, so much damage onto Optic Waffles as well. Klexo looking for the trade back in, finds the Scott effect, and there goes the Ash! Is gone with his own enchanted crystal arrow. Steel City Warrior now on the run, but you're stuck inside a massive minion wave. And Klexo will take the 3 kills, 2 over to the Silas. This is absurd gaming from Klexo.
Yeah, this has to be some kind of, like, Klexo might have to go to jail after this game. Like, I don't know what he's doing to Stasis Gaming Mirage, but it can't be legal.
Something about this has to be, like some kind of scene is Wukong looking for the all-in, but that's not the team you want to all-in on. Death from below doesn't land, but it does not matter. Striker Jones, seeing his enemies fall before him, smiling with glee as Stasis Gaming Mirage get annihilated in this game number 1. As Final Boss 18 show exactly why they're the number 1 team in Immortal.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot to say after that game. The Silas, big lead in the early start of the game. The Olaf, I was a little bit curious about, but ended up doing so much damage. I really think, I don't love to talk about like builds, and I don't necessarily even think that the builds were the problem that game, but you can't have no anti-heal at the end of the game against Olaf Silas when they're that far ahead, but I think plain and simply, the lanes just won. Like, Klexo did so much work, got such a massive lead, and then by the time we got to team fights, there wasn't any, like, it wasn't enough confirmed lockdown to kill the Silas. So he just kind of got to run through everybody on the team, and yeah, I think that Stasis Gaming Mirage just couldn't answer the Silas.
Yeah, thematically, I love the Stasis composition. You have good scaling. You have lanes that have priority. You have range versus melee matchup in the mid lane. You have Ashe Seraphine in the bottom lane. These are lanes that can win. Ornn in the top lane loses with Grace versus Olaf, doesn't end up feeding a lot of kills. On the surface, it seems like a good start from them, but like you said early on, as soon as that double kill went over to Klexo, it felt like he just had control of the laning phase and just did not let his foot off the pedal, just kept pressing forward, and Optic Waffles just never got a chance to sit, farm, scale up, find items, and as soon as Klexo started roaming the map, I felt like that was it.
Yeah, I also think, like I was talking about Steel City Warrior earlier, this being quite a good player in the top lane, I know that when enemy team picks Rumble, and it wasn't Rumble top, it was Olaf, but you want to play the weak side, there's nothing you can really do to win that matchup. I would have preferred something with a bit more agency, like get a better matchup, right, in the top lane. I don't agree with letting Rumble through if you're going to, if there's an option of an Olaf, or if you're just going to sit there and be on a tank. I think, like, sitting on an Ornn is fine. I hate the matchup, that's not what I'm saying, but I would rather see this player on something that he can destroy the lane on. I think that he showed very good proficiency the last time I watched this player, at least. And yeah, I think that would be a good place to start for our Game 2 draft.
Yeah, we'll have to see what changes in that Game 2 draft when we get there, but we are going to cut to a short break while we get set up for that. We'll see you guys on the other side when we get to Game 2 of Stasis Gaming Mirage versus Final Boss 18. We'll see you there. Welcome back, everybody. We are getting ourselves ready for draft for game number 2 between Final Boss 18 and Stasis Gaming Mirage. But before we get there, we have a little game that we like to play here on Titan Immortal. Our producer Golden presents us with 3 champions, specifically 3 skins, to play Kiss, Marry, or Kill with. And because spring has sprung, we have the bees. Unfortunately, I'm gonna be honest, no real good options here. But choices have to be made. I'm shocked that I'm the only one who didn't kiss Ziggs, actually. I didn't realize we were all Ziggs kissers.
I'm not gonna lie, I actually didn't submit anything. So this means that I think Golden did it for me, and she got it exactly correct. This is what I would have picked.
So I have to know, given that this is the correct options for you, why are we kissing the Ziggs? Those two offset me. They off-put me.
I don't know. It's something about it's the champion specifically. A little bit I'm going with here, like with the Malzahar. I don't know. What I do need to know is why our producers are marrying Bizahar. Yeah.
You mean kill?
Yeah. Okay. I feel that.
I can kind of get it. There's a reason why I kissed him instead of killing him. Also, I played too much ARAM.
No, but that's boring.
I play too much ARAM. I'm not about Ziggs. I can kill that guy any day of the week. I'm totally happy doing that. Malzahar at the very least.
It's just a little kiss, just a little smooch.
Look, because at the very least he'll be interesting conversation. He's very smart. He's very intelligent. I could spend the long haul with him. Malzahar is kind of just all about the
what
void.
Golden just said. That's a positive. I will not be saying what she said on stream, but what she said is a positive. But she's killing it apparently.
Malzahar, he's just like he's a little too much about just like the void this, the void that,
cool,
the void's
though.
coming.
Like a little edgy, little, you know. I reckon he listens to like Pierce the Veil, you know, maybe you know.
I think he listens too much to just like whatever music the void tells him to, and I don't know if the void is listening to Pierce the Veil.
Bro, Kais is in the void. Kais is definitely in a band somewhere. I mean, she is actually. She's in KDA, right?
Yeah, but that's not in the void. That's when she got
Maybe he's
out
a big
of the
KDA fan.
KDA stan Bizahar. That needs to be a Kassadin skit, actually. Supportive dad Kassadin. He's just in the big KDA Kaisa t-shirt, front row at the crowd at the concert.
We do have the biggest fan of all time though as a skin. So I don't know if you guys have already done that, but KDA skins would be banger Golden, and if you include the Gragas one.
If we're not marrying Gragas, I don't know what we're doing. I think our colorcaster is being threatened and or bribed.
Yeah, I'm being bribed here, so I'm being coerced.
Well,
anyway,
that's enough Kiss, Marry, Kill. Thank
on.
you all so much for dealing with us while we discuss these things. But we're in game number 2, Final Boss 18, Stasis Gaming Mirage. Game number 1, to be frank, I'll use a word that I've heard a lot of other people use. It was a shellacking, I think.
A shellacking, yes. I agree.
It was rough.
I agree.
That was a tough one.
Yeah, that was a bit brutal. Stasis Gaming Mirage, it looks like still on the red side. What is their priority? I mean, I don't think giving away Orianna with what I just saw was a good idea. I am also concerned about if they take something like an Orianna and Clixo can play something like a Kali, you know, a very similar look to the Silas and just destroy.
Yeah.
It might run into the same option. So I'm not exactly sure where you go here because in lane, that should be a decent matchup, you know, Silas into Syndra. But
it ended up being very Silas favored.
I
There's that Akali ban you were talking about. This does mean something like Yasuo is available. And it was banned in the previous game, so I wonder if this is just something that Final Boss 18 just wants to stand down first pick and say, hey, we'll take that. Yeah, They absolutely will. Clixo confident on melee matchups. And Optic Waffle's already on the pretty rough receiving end of one of them early on, so dealing with a little bit of that trauma. What are you going to do here in game 2?
Zinzao is a nice pickup here. I think Zinzao Orianna would be the best idea for me. I know that the mid lane didn't go great last game, but surely that was just a one-game thing, right? We can play a little stronger. You can pick your mid on 3, that's fine. Or you could go support and try to wait to see where this Yasuo is a little bit more. I think that works, but Zinzao, you know, is quite strong. Or the Malphite, okay. So Oriana's not looking as hot anymore, I think.
Yeah.
But Lulu, I like Lulu for Stasis Gaming. That is a knock-up combo though. Okay, Yasuo top.
Victor, Yasuo top, almost assuredly then. Yeah, but it's also blind Yasuo top, which is very,
That's wild.
very risky.
What do we? I don't. Oh, Ari. Okay, yeah, sure. Ari, mobile into Malphite. I like it. Good setup for the Yunara. So we're playing for like Yunara and the Zinzao here. I think Enchanter would be really good. What are we playing into Yasuo though? Because the problem is, I feel like you need something that's going to go forward and kind of set up. So like something like a Jax would be nice. But the problem is that no matter what you play, later on in the game, maybe Jax can win on side lane, but if the Yasuo is good enough, he'll just outscale everybody. So it's a tough ask to, like, you need something that's going to do well in lane and team fight, but then you're still going to have this problem in the side lane, the Aurora Bam for that top lane matchup. I mean, it makes sense. I really think something like a Jax, even a Renekton, even though he's going to get turbo outscaled, would be better.
Yeah, just something that's going to give Steel City Warriors some priority on the top lane, some ability to have control of the laning phase and just say, hey, I get to choose how this lane goes. I get to have control in one form or another. And we're going to pick up the Braum. Yunara Braum is a good bottom lane 2v2, but now we're going to have to see what Final Boss 18, now having full information of that bottom lane, what they're going to do with it exactly is the plan. As
Oh, they
they're
took it
gonna
away.
lock
It's
Jax.
Yasuo bot.
So it's Yasuo bottom lane. Okay.
Okay.
Are we pairing it with Alistar? Are we pairing it with Rakan? Because Nautilus is gone. There's not going to be like Jarvan support shenanigans. We're not doing Lee Sin support, I assume. Yeah, we'll just be the Rakan.
Yeah, I mean, that's really good into
Alright.
Braum.
It's good into Braum. I just don't know how I feel about Yasuo versus Yunara.
Yeah, that doesn't sound very fun, but I really wish this was Lulu on Braum. I think that the Rakan was kind of hovering, and I think that if this is Lulu, that bot lane is unwinnable for Final Boss 18. Yasuo goes in polymorphed, Rakan goes in polymorphed. He can't do anything. Like, they can't play against that bot lane. But now with the Braum, you do have an option to go past the knock-up as well with the Grand Entrance so that the Last Breath can be cast off from the keyboarder. I think that now you're in a situation where Braum can't really protect the Yunara in lane or in these fights when Malphite comes around. So when that happens, and actually, Yunara's already taken like nearly 100 damage off of her health, and the Yasuo and the Rakan are full. I don't know how that happens, but it did. That's okay.
Yeah, already not starting off great for this bottom lane. We just looking to just stay alive here. I do like the Guardian at the very least saying, hey, this is a bottom lane kill lane. We're just going to play the defense. We know that they're going to try and be aggressive early in the 2v2. We just have to keep the AD carry alive.
So it's the Gragas into the Jax. I didn't really get a chance to talk about this in the draft because we were pretty quickly into game, but this is something that Zeus does quite a lot. Like, I feel like he's the person who I think of who playing this matchup. Like, I remember, I think it was 2024 World Finals where he played it against Bin's Jax, who's like the best Jax on the planet. This is a matchup where, to my knowledge, you don't like win on side, but you stop him from doing anything, right? So when he dashes in, you just belly slam him, get the
nullifying matchup.
proc. Yeah, nullifying matchup, and then you just phase rush away. That'll take a little bit until like all 3 levels are done, and then when you've got a little bit more tankiness, it might be the roller. It could be Fimbulwinter too. I guess you could go that. But with the tier start, I'm interested to see what Steel City Warrior does with this matchup. I think it's not a skill in like a hands sense, but I'd say that it's like a real knowledge matchup where you need to know your limits on the Gragas to really do well. But Klexo is already just it's
This is
starting
not
off
normally what you
not
see from the
great.
Victor matchups, but we've seen how aggressive Klexo can be in these 1v1 with the Summon Airy just taking advantage of the consistent early damage. I like it.
So in game 1, like, this is high rank, so this argument is a little less impactful, but it's still the truth that sometimes Sylas games are like, well, the Sylas kind of got off to a good start, and I played my early lane really badly, and now we can't stop him from rolling, and that happens, sure, and that's more of just a mistake thing, and I'm willing to put that game 1 to that. But now it's only been a couple of waves, but Plexo's based for Darkseal. He's feeling real confident. Ari has base as well and is already TPing back, but the Klexo base was the tempo base, and Optic Waffles base was because he was low and needed to base, and now TP is gone. And the mid lane, if it continues to look how it did, there's the matchup. But Grass Prop will still go over to Striker Jones.
A
But
little late from Steel City, yeah. Allowed Striker
yeah,
Jones to get that auto off.
I think that if this mid lane continues to go awry, Klexum,
Ooh, actually,
yeah,
just in
okay,
the 1v1. Striker Jones finds first blood.
not great.
And suddenly, this top lane matchup is in a lot more trouble for Steel
The
City
wave
Warrior.
is turbo awful as well because
Oh, yeah,
Steel
wow,
City
that's
Warrior
rough.
has TP. He's TPing to the wave, and the wave is all gone that he's going to kill. So he lost the entire wave. Take a look up here what happened in top lane. So
Yeah, just
I
out of mana,
guess,
you can't walk up here.
well, the wave is pushing, so you need your jungler here. The wave is in such an awful spot. Just flash, yeah, beautiful. And then just sits, the wave gets deleted. So it wasn't even though that Gragas had started to clear the wave. And now we're fighting again.
Phase Rush proc from Steel City Warrior will get himself out of trouble, and Striker Jones does take plenty of minion aggro after the fact, so actually ends up being a decent trade back, but already has the Mercury treads, and now Steel City Warrior is just going to struggle to do damage in this 1v1, and Striker Jones just needs a couple more autos, cancels
Oh,
one
boy.
away, but has it! Flash! Bluetooth auto attack Striker Jones,
Yep.
a second solo, and this top lane is feeling pretty doomed.
This feels like game one, but instead of the mid lane, it's top lane. Like Gragas is a nullifying matchup, like we talked about. It should be a decent, position to be in. But now down 0-2, this Jax is going to be very difficult to deal with throughout most of the game now. Like unless Gragas gets 2 kills and gets a bunch of farm back, the Jax is just going to hold this lead like Klexo did last game, and the rest of the map is stable. Victor's winning. Wave's in a great spot. Yasuo is graciously losing the lane. Fine. Okay. It's Yasuo into Yunara Braum. Right now, there's not a ton he can do until, the ults come online, until at least boots, maybe first item is when you can start to look for all-ins and win that. At minimum ults. Like, you can't really press the advantage without ult. And he's just weathering the storm really well. Down a little bit of CS. He'll catch this. He'll be down, maybe 10, 15 CS. Like, it is a lot, but
They can look for
Steve
something
Jackson
here. Boykisser already used the stand behind me. He's taking a lot of damage. Keyboarder does have that Q3 lined up. Reed, nice sidestep with the extra bit of movement speed. And now Xinjiao in the area, flashes forward. The exhaust is down though, keeping him out of trouble. Keyboarder able to just dash his way out of trouble. And somehow everybody manages to walk away on the bottom side.
Yeah, I mean, Keyboarder loses Flash. Both bot laners lose exhaust as well. So that is something. We're scrapping again.
Steve Jackson, plenty of health here. Trade is in the area, and suddenly Elblue on the
Klexo.
bottom, on the back half of this trade. Klexo ghosting in for the roam. Flash away from Boykisser, but the Arcane Storm is down. It's too slow to catch up. It's not going to be able to get those last little ticks of damage. So again, everyone from SGM will walk away. And I mean, this is the one part of the map where you have your strength. You really want to find better trades here if you're SGM.
So Malphite should hit 6 off of this Scuttle Crab, I believe. Unless he skipped camps, he should hit 6. Let's see. Yep, and upgraded Smite. So now he has upgraded Smite against Zinza and ult. So now he can look for a dive onto Regis or just start this dragon up. Zinza will even the Smite, so they both have upgraded.
He's just going to go for it. Flash away from Regis. Gets away from the unstoppable force, and Steve Jackson forced to use his own flash. Skill checked him and passed the skill check. It will give Keyboarder a plate at the very least, but your Malphite losing ulti flash in the early game is not where you want to be.
I'm not even sure if Steve Jackson does kill, even if that ult hits. The top lane's going much better now. But I think that because of that, no flash, no ult, you had a timer there where you're a level up, you have ult, you can do dragon for free, and instead you get the Inara flash. I mean, it is something, it'll allow the all-in from Final Boss 18's bot lane to look a bit better. We have boots online and at least the Yasuo ult waiting on the quickness to come through for trade as well. But when that comes through, and the Yunara no flash, no exhaust, it should be pretty easy to get a kill on her if maybe Malphite comes back down. Nice ult.
Looking aggressive here. Uses that explosive cast. He's just going to be able to find the shutdown. Halfway there. There's that first kill, and maybe he can look for a second once that cooldown's back up.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I was expecting this to be... I said it was a knowledge kind of lane. I was expecting there to be a big knowledge gap after we saw the early game from Steel City Warrior. But hold on. Grand Entrance will do a little bit. I'm being censored by streaming.
Censored
You
spelled
can talk.
incorrectly. How very American of you,
I'll
Golden.
always listen to you. Will I say what you said? Maybe not.
Different story entirely, yeah. In the meantime, though, back in game, it is a couple hundred gold lead over to Final Boss 18. A less dominant start by them. They're going to look
Grand
for the all-in on
entrance.
the bottom side. There's that grand entrance and the last breath. Regis, though, transcends. So now suddenly they can look for a trade back. Has that level 6 potion as well, but the disengage is just as good from trading Keyboarder, and I think they're happy to just take the trade of ultimates.
Yeah, so now the quickness is back up. Malphite ult is nearly back up as well. And, has no flash, no ult. So zero way of getting out of any of these fights. The dragon hasn't been taken. I feel like Zinzao probably could have taken the dragon at any other time. Oh, not I liked hearing it too, but I can't say it.
This is how our producer has to talk to us, by the way. They don't use their voice. They don't speak to us from behind the scenes. You guys don't hear them. It is just they speak to us through text messages. As Steve Jackson and Trade here looking to clear out some wards on this bottom side. You just has to kind of clear out this wave because if they let this wave crash, this dive is happening. Blue in the area, just looking for the all-in, but now stuck in the 1v3, has that Crescent Guard to get himself out of it. Glacial Fissure is just too little too late from Boykisser, and that's just a dead Zinzao. Ultimate still available from Steve Jackson. He's going to find it with the last breath as well. Regis will fall. Boykisser should just be the next to go. 1 EQ from Keyboarder. Eats the ramp tower shot, but is feeling just fine as long as he doesn't take another one. Careful there, buddy.
He's dancing on the line. He's towing the line. If his toenail went in there, he was dead to the ramp tower shot. But really nice fight there. Because of the health bars, Final Boss 18 aren't able to get the dragon. Still City Warrior doing a really good job of this, but no ult. Already used it. I don't want to distract the casters. They are simply except you. So I'm neither sexy and I'm Sinmapul. That's a good one. Good spelling, Golden. Really good on that one.
Golden has never made a spelling mistake in your life. I don't know what you're talking about. And I'm not just saying this because they just complimented me. I would never.
Well, what Stasis Gaming?
I cannot be paid off. I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, Stasis Gaming are going to go for this dragon really quick. Trade is going to get vision on it, but it's just too late. So again, first dragon's going over to Stasis Gaming. I think this has really been the question mark point from Final Boss 18. Just the lack of dragon priority and dragon control in the early game is that I think most teams and most players have kind of just been in consensus that dragon is the best early game objective.
It is I feel like it's the best objective, period, because I think Grubs
Striker Jones!
Very nice.
Playing with deadly game. The final tick of the health bar just enough to win in the 1v1.
That was very close. Stuff. This top lane matchup is becoming pretty interesting. Hang on, we're just going forward. Well, we'll just back off there as the auto doesn't hit. And no tag from Boykisser 69. But I think, hold on, quickness.
Okay,
ooh, that was ult as well.
Charm, yeah. Quickness and grand entrance used and just couldn't find it.
That was a nice attempt. There was no last breath either way, so I don't know if Regis was dying, and he has flash anyway, so might have been able to get out of that. But yeah, the Grubs, like with the Jacks, they're really strong. Oh, hang on, we might be getting another dive here.
Boykisser taken very low, but does have the unbreakables. Steve Jackson, flashes forward to do absolutely nothing. He's going to finally pick up Boykisser, but will die in his stead. Trade now on the way out, and so is Klexo, but the chase down is there. Blue will find that kill, and what on earth just happened there?
Yeah. And top lane.
Striker Jones with the Grandmaster's Might. That's another solo kill for the Jacks. 4-1 now.
Yeah, I think Final Boss 18, they're kind of oversending it a little bit, but they are getting kills on important members. The Yasuo has 2 kills now. And this Jax, I don't know what's happening. Maybe I just need to stop talking because I spoke about the Gragas is going to do well to ult in mid.
All in. C Jackson, 2 levels down on Optic, but still confident to just walk forward with trade in the area as well. Optic Waffles taken away on the Ignite. Does not manage to lose it. Big damage, but just not enough to finish off the R.
Klexo will kill. Eat him. That's what I said about Malzahar's waist.
Absolutely not. I don't want to get. I don't want Sebs to get angry.
She said it was a pretty waist.
Yeah, exactly her words.
If you don't know Golden, you might believe me, and you should. If you do know Golden, you don't believe me at all.
If you do know Golden, you probably know what it exactly was that she did say. as Striker Jones now 2
I
levels
need
up
it.
on Steel City Warrior. This is he's already got that full Triforce completed. This top lane matchup is not going to get any easier for this Gragas.
I need to Australian censorship. Yeah, that's true. I mean, I don't have to abide by your laws. I'm in Australia right now, and I don't have to listen to all the Americanisms of everything. I will, though, however, Golden, be asking you later on about your opinion about the Malzahar skin. Not the Malzahar skin, sorry, the Vel'Koz skin, because I'm surprised that that was your answer.
Now Blue on this bottom side, trying to keep us in game here. As this one is actually a lot closer. 3,000 gold is only the lead for Final Boss 18, and they are down the first dragon. Second one spawning in just about a minute and a half here. As Steel City Warrior again getting the worst of these trades. The phase rush just not doing enough to keep this Gragas safe.
The good news is for Stasis Gaming is that a lot of the lead for Final Boss 18 is in its top lane, and Gragas has a really easy time canceling TP. Positioning around bot lane, we've still got another minute on this dragon, but the other good news is that everyone has first item completed, so you're in a position where you're fine to fight. Even if I'll dive in top.
Looking for the dive. Nice use of the explosive cast just to negate most of that damage. If he ends up trading, it'll be 1-for-1, but we got to play on the bottom side as well. Jackson has the unstoppable. There's the quickness and the grand entrance. The last breath, every bit of the combo thrown down, but they just don't have the damage. Xin Zhao and Wake are being able to walk out, just trying to cut it out for now, but they'll finally chase it down. Nice knock up again. The Q3 getting plenty of damage through. Regis, though, is transcended, just looking for the damage. Now Optic Waffles on the flank. Regis will fall, but so will the members of Final Boss. Klexo will pick up one in response, but Optic Waffles has all of the Spirit Rush charges. A double kill over to Klexo, but it's a triple over to Optic Waffles with trade dying. Make it the quadra kill!
And the ace as well, as the solo kill did happen in favor of Steel City Warrior, but once the damage from the last breath was dealt, and obviously the Malphite burst, that's it, right? Because Victor wasn't there at the time. He was following Ari. And Regis just gets to free hit for so long. Xin Zhao buys a ton of time with his ult. So does Braum with the shield. And the health bars are low enough that Ari with resets and the healing can just wipe through everybody and get that quadra kill. And Steel City Warrior in the top lane did such a great job of surviving that dive. The tower will be lost because of Demolish. Gragas should be fine. I would be really surprised if he can 100-0 him. So both top laners don't have TP, or the dragon's already been taken down in bot. So it's 2 dragons over to Stasis Gaming, and it's Hextech Soul again.
Yeah, another Hextech Soul means that these longer range compositions can kind of just take advantage of the chase down. But the extra damage does feel pretty good, and this is somewhat mirroring what we saw in game number 1 with SG Mirage having the extra dragons in the early game, but Final Boss 18 has a lot less of a lead as combo in, final assault, last breath, everything thrown at Regis, not even able to flash out. Plated steel caps do nothing for him as he just dies in the 2v2. Now Klexo getting chased down here. Steve Jackson playing the defense, already used the unstoppable force. Nice stun onto L Blue, but he does have the Crescent Guard flash away from the Spirit Rush orb. Optic Waffles not able to finish off the Malphite. Klexo using the shield to trade back, but somehow everyone in mid lane walks away and trade maybe doesn't want to let that happen. Has enough damage. The passive and Xin will be able to walk away. The win becomes lightning steal again. But Klexo binds Optic Waffles in the mid lane and takes the 1v1.
I will say, this is why you go Dark Seal, because if Waffles had that for the quadra kill, he would have fully stacked Dark Seal basically. I think he would have 8 stacks on it. It's 2 per kill, right? He'd have 8 stacks.
That's a lot of AP.
He would have done so much more damage in that fight. I also don't like at 17 minutes not having your ADC and support in mid. I don't like it. Just sitting in bot lane to wait to get comboed on again. Like, you need to be in mid, getting wards down, your jungle hovering for you so that you can play the 3v3 instead of just getting lost in the 2v2. But yeah, Ari goes forward, dies in the 2v2. Xin Zhao nearly falls down to Rakan. Some mistakes happening here for Stasis Gaming. The gold, again, it's not too bad. It is pretty bad. But the good news is to wonton. I don't know what that word means. But at least they have the dragon stacking. I'm going to need an update on what that... I don't know what wonton means.
Wanton is...
wanton.
Wild, aggressive. Usually it's a little too much, I think would be another term for it.
I don't know if I believe you, Golden. After what our conversation was earlier, he's too much now, really. Maybe his
In the
personality, maybe his
meantime,
personality.
on the Rift here, the gold lead has extended to 4,000 here for Final Boss 18. Despite the Dragon deficit, they're still feeling pretty confident about their ability to play the game. I'm going to ignore that at the bottom of the screen as Flexo continue to push in here. Like you said, the mid lane is swapping out the bot lane. Flexo still staying here in the mid lane, but Yasuo is basically a mid laner, so he can kind of just solo farm bottom lane. He's got the safety, feeling fine, but Regis playing the true blue AD carry does have to rotate.
Was that a copy paste like description from Google, or did you write that
It might have
quickly?
been.
I'm
It might have
impressed
been a
either way.
Wikipedia. Yeah.
All right, well.
Oh, the Merriam-Webster dictionary, which is more reputable than Google. That's fair.
Final Boss 18 will get this mid tower, so open up the map a little bit, and they can push waves. But they finally put their bot lane in mid. You also want a side lane, makes sense to me. I think that having either Yasuo or Victor in the side lane is fine. So having Yasuo is probably more ideal than having Ari. Than having Victor against the Ari in the side lane. You know, Ari can really chase you down from a long time, and Yasuo with boots 2 items is probably going to 1v1 anybody that isn't the Jax in this game, and Jax is on his team. So
yeah, that kind of
yeah,
helps you with not needing to 1v1 that guy.
exactly. It's not going to happen. So it's at this point in the game where it's not really a ton that's going to happen until Dragon, unless teams really want to scrap for no reason. And there is no reason to fight. Like, Baron is up. It's probably pretty tough to do that without all 5 committing, and then even then, I don't think either team is happy to do that. You can turn pretty well from Final Boss 18 with Jax and with Malphite, Rakan, but still, you run the risk of getting charmed.
Flexo.
Well, hang on, Plexo.
He is stuck down here in the 1v3. They send all the members down as Baron is not a threat this early in the game. And that's just going to be a free pickup with 50 seconds over to the Dragon.
Yeah, and now Klexo's dead. He used Ghost. Optic Waffles with Malignant should have ult back up before this Dragon is spawned, but Scuttle smarted by Zinzao, so we'll have a little bit of that vision control. Now we just need some pushing lanes. Jax is roaming down from the top lane, and be careful, he does have 2 completed items, but we've got some second items getting completed pretty much across the board. Jungle missing and top missing as well for Stasis Gaming. Those are really the roles that matter. I think that if Optic Waffles can get this pen online, if Regis can get 3rd item as well, like, you could give this Dragon if you're not feeling confident. You've already got 2.
You don't have
the
to
3rd
fight,
one would be nice.
They're still going to look for it. Elblue looking for the all-in here. Trade Force to dash away. Just continue to walk forward with the Braum. Glacial Fissure is available. This is slow from the Seismic Shard, but just forced to walk away instead. They trade health bars, but that's really it. But it does keep control of the river. As they're going to use the Herald to try and guarantee themselves this Dragon.
Yeah, I think this is a good give. With the Herald as well being able to be used in combat, that would be pretty scary. Like, Rakan can use that and be really slippery. Malphite can use that and get a better angle for his ult. You've already got 2 Dragons. Giving this one doesn't really feel that bad. You really want to see, 3, even 4 items on this Yunara before she's going to take over the game. And even then, it relies on your team playing really well around you to not get hit by the 10 billion knockups and combo that Final Boss 18 do have. So it's pretty scary for this Yunara no matter what, but I think that if you walk in blind like that, you will die. See, Optic Waffles going forward.
Looking for the aggression here, and there goes Optic Waffles. The burst from the Malphite Victor, just too much to handle.
Yeah, that's a full damage Malphite. I thought if that was tank Malphite, unironically, I think Optic Waffles kills Klexo the second he hits the floor. But the Malphite burst was so much that Fox got exploded. It's not looking great for Stasis Gaming Mirage because all the lanes are pushing very in favor of Final Boss 18. So Stasis Gaming have no priority to get vision anywhere. Gragas still doesn't have 2nd item. Maybe now on this base, but it's going to be Cosmic Drive. That helps a little bit with some movement speed and does a little bit more damage, but it's not a massive spike. And has Lost Chapter. So he was sitting on quite a bit of gold there. Probably would have liked to have seen that come through a little bit earlier, but 2nd items from everyone except for 1 support now. Working on 3rd for majority of the carries as well. When this Yasuo gets Infinity Edge, and that will happen before Yunara gets hers, it's looking really sketchy.
Yeah, looking for a potential trade around the Baron here. Elblue forced to just back out, but now Boykiss is the one in trouble, looking to hop over the wall, but it's just getting a Striker Jones the angle for the counter strike onto 2. This should just be a dead Braum, even with the Glacial Fissure. Flashes away, has the locket as well, but Trade in with the quickness. They're not able to finish off the kills. So much aggression, but the Brom's still standing strong. Now Keyboarder in with the last breath, and that's going to be one dead Regis, and they're still looking for the dive as Striker Jones continuing to just barrel forward under turret. He will get the shutdown gold over, but picks up a double kill for his trouble. Steel City Warrior will also grab a double kill, and now Steve Jackson the one in trouble. Forced to flash over the wrong wall. You're on the wrong side of the map, my friend. Looking for a trade here with Optic Waffles, but cannot find the damage. Good trades back by SGM. They're managing to keep themselves in this game.
So this fight is like quite SGM favored. Okay, Victor was in bot lane the whole time, but ult is done here. Optic Waffles has no flash. He'll just get one shot underneath his Nexus turrets. But
just manages to pick that one up. Good lord.
That was a lot of damage, a lot of burst damage. But Reggie's got one shot instantly at the start of the fight. He's back now. If we get a stun on Klexo, but a slow there, Klexo should be able to get away here. There is a big chase. Klexo still has flash. Oh, we're TPing. That's why he's playing.
Yeah, still looking for the trade. Just trying to kite it out. The TP's in here for the Jax. They do not want to deal with Striker Jones. The level 16 Jax with 2.5 items. He's just too scary.
I think he was probably out no matter what. Keyboarder got the solo kill. This is what I'm saying. No one can really match this Yasuo on side. I think the lanes right now for Final Boss 18 are just too much to handle. In the team fights, though, like, I got one shot at the beginning of the fight, and it still looked that good. Optic Waffles is doing a ton of damage. I actually think that Steel City Warrior played that fight pretty well. Zinzao bought a lot of time. The problem, though, is that, first of all, the lanes are awful. Second of all, Yasuo does have 3 items working on his 4th, which I assume is going to be a
most likely Guardian Angel?
Yeah, GA, or it could be a Death's Dance as well, but GA makes the most sense to me. And Zinzao
in a little trouble here, has the Crescent Guard, but stuck in the 1v4. Either the team's got to engage or that's one dead man. They're looking for the all-in as Regis step too far forward. Steve Jackson alongside Klexo will pick that one up, and with 2 members down, including the jungler, Final Boss will turn to the Baron.
Yeah, the top laner, we mean, like, as if he was top laner is what we're talking about there.
No, I top laner. I think our producer's seeing things.
I'm going to talk about the fight. I think that Reg is playing these fights way too aggressively. Like, you can't be dying. I know they have a lot of movement, and this is kind of why I didn't like the Braum, because this is what happens when you pick Braum into things like Malphite, Rakan, Yasuo. In lane against Yasuo, it's fine, but then they just walk past you, and you're not fast enough to stop them from going in. They're too fast. At going in. So, like, if you were a Lulu here, you would have, the wild growth to knock up anyone who goes in on you. You would have a polymorph onto one of them, probably the Rakan or the Yasuo. Then you would have shielding and extra damage, and Steel City Warrior is going to have to TP, but okay, he will get out.
I thought out.
Keyboarder Steve Jackson didn't have ult
quick enough.
I mean, they're going to lose another dragon. Baron has been taken by Final Boss 18. They don't have, they've got like 2 minutes to get this done, so they did take their time resetting. They're going to do this dragon, so it's going to be a little bit before they can actually lay siege to the base, but there is 3 items on everyone outside of the support, so they do a lot of damage, and this gold lead is very real at 10,000 gold.
Trade looking to just keep Steel City Warrior off of this, but yeah, the siege is just going to continue with this Baron buff. And SG Mirage, they have to find something here. They're looking for the all-in on Klexo, but the defense is there. The peel from Trade will keep him alive. Everybody in on top of the Xin Zhao, and there goes the burst. Steel City Warrior and Xin Zhao already gone. Optic Waffles forced to use Spirit Rush defensively, but Klexo does not want to let him escape. The Arcane Storm crushes their hopes. And Final Boss 18 proves that they are truly the best team in the league, as they are going to take this series 2-0.
A beautiful performance from Final Boss 18. It looked easy for them. They came with a plan. Some unique drafting in this second game and the first game, but played really, really well. Series MVP. What are we thinking? Klexo? I think it's Klexo.
I feel like it has to be Klexo. As much as I love what Trade did in the early game and
the
lanes, it was very good support play, but it just wasn't the outstanding support play that we hope to see. But Klexo was just on top of his game, basically from minute 1 of game 1 all the way up until the last minute of game 2.
I mean, there were a couple of deaths on this, second game here, and you can point out some mistakes like dying, giving Syndra the 1k shutdown in game 1, but I think that the pace set from game 1, it was all him, and in game 2, did his job very, very well. Played the mid lane well, side laned well, team fought really well. I think it was a really good performance from Klexo. So congratulations to Final Boss 18. Believe you said this means
They
that
locked
they
playoffs.
they locked playoffs. But are they locked a specific seed or just locked playoffs?
They are just locked to make top 4 no matter what happens. They
Right,
will be there
okay.
guaranteed. And for SGM, their fate is still somewhat in their own hands. If they can win next week, they have a good chance to still make it into playoffs. I believe they still lock if they win next game. They only need to win one of the upcoming matches, not both of them, or not only this one. So they can still make it. Their fate is still in their hands, but if they lose next week, they kind of just have to sit and pray.
Yeah, and that is rough. That is a rough position to be in. But yeah, I think all around it was a really strong performance. Like the Yasuo Rakan was a very creative bot lane, and I don't think that Stasis Gaming was prepared for that. Or it's hard to be prepared for Yasuo Rakan bot lane, but
Yeah.
you get set behind. The Yunara Brum never really got off to a good foot. They never really managed to team fight effectively. They got 2 dragons, that's great, but then after that, the team fights were never really in their favor. Yasuo got 3 items, and was working on his 4th very, very quickly. Klexo, again, massive difference in the mid lane. And the top lane, he did get killed, solo killed back and forth, but I think that the pace that the Jack set early as well was really effective with the Malphite. This was a very go-forward comp, and they played it really well.
Yeah, they played in both of these games. They played very aggressive compositions and just said, "Hey, we're gonna play early. We're gonna snowball, and whichever one of our lanes is winning, we will just play around now. That's our win condition." And they do that really well. Klexo with the Silas in game 1 got a couple of solo kills early, got the double kill early on, had the lead, and just was able to kind of have the team roam around him and meatball around him throughout the end of that game. And similarly here, Striker Jones on the top side, they just allowed Striker Jones to play that matchup. And unfortunately, Steel City Warrior, who you were paying praise to for being a highlight of the series for SGM in the last time that these two teams faced off, just wasn't able to be up to snuff this time around. I think the matchups were potentially there for him. He had good chances, but Striker Jones just ended up being better on the day today.
Yeah, and that kind of is how it goes sometimes. I think both of the lanes were okay. Like the first matchup wise, I mean, the Ornn it's tough into the Olaf. I mean, I know that they changed up what you thought was the Rumble, but this lane is a good lane, right? For Gragas. It's not necessarily winning, although we did see some solo kills from Steel City Warrior, but I think it's just the lane pressure. It's the lane priority, right? That's the problem. Is that even though the damage is relative, the gold is relative, the impact is not felt by those numbers. It's felt by the fact that the Jax was always first to these fights. I felt like the Jax did better in the team fights just in general as well. There was one, I think that Steel City Warrior did well on that one play in top where Final Boss 18 overextended at the tier 2 tower. But other than that, I'm pressed to find a team fight where I went, where Gragas really carried that fight with the ult or found access to the backline, got a kill on Victor or ulted him forwards, and the team capitalized off that. And unfortunately, that's kind of how Gragas needs to play.
Yeah, it was just unfortunate, I think, from all sides here for Stasis Gaming Mirage. But for Final Boss 18, a clean 2-0 week to guarantee you top 4, that feels pretty good. And going into your next couple of weeks, you can take it easy. I don't expect this team to take their feet off the gas pedal if these games have anything to show for it. But I think that's going to be it from us tonight. I want to thank you all so much for joining us. I've been What Too Pretty. That's been Jay Beto, our producer and observer, Golden and Darth, making sure everything runs as smoothly as possible in the background. We appreciate you all being here so much, and we will catch you next week for more Titan Esports Immortal action. Have a good night.